Hi, boys and girls. Hey, I was sitting out here camping and I read a great book called Johnny Appleseed by James Howard Kunstler. And guess what happens in this book? Oh, I know, there's a pot on my head. Do you know what? In 1811, there was a young man named Jonathan Chapman. And he was kind of a strange duck. Well, anybody that wears a pot on their head would kind of be strange, I guess you could say. But even in 1811, it was strange. And his clothes were two old sacks that they'd sewn together. Oh my goodness, boys and girls, you would not believe this guy. Anyway, he lived up in Ohio, in the central part of Ohio, and he planted apple seeds. So he followed this thing called a trace, as a road, and everywhere he went, he sowed apple seeds. He planted apple seeds. One day he stopped at a farmer's house and helped the farmer and his wife and kids out with some of the animals. And you know what? Guess how they paid him? The wife gave him supper, and she also cooked him an apple pie. And you know what? Johnny Appleseed couldn't believe it. It had been so long since he had eaten an apple pie that he couldn't hardly believe it. He was so busy planting apple seeds that he never had time to stop and harvest any of them and eat any. So in this book, you know what? The Indians also thought that Johnny was so strange that they didn't even hardly mess with him. They find out what the Indians thought about Johnny Appleseed, and then see how everything ends up in this book. It's called Johnny Appleseed by James Howard Kunstler. And guess what, boys and girls? You're going to be amazed. You're going to learn a lot of things in here, and you're going to be amazed about the life and the story of Johnny Appleseed, whose name was Jonathan Chapman. So thanks for joining me for another Mr. Dean's Outdoor Reading Adventures.